It's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Jackson, Mississippi lost a legendary basketball coach, Coach Grady Dotson. Coach Dotson led the Blackburn Jaguars to two city titles in the mid-'70s and Provine Rams to two city titles in the mid-'80s. I have the honor of speaking with four star players who actually are Jackson legends. Two from Blackburn, which is former NBA player Lancaster Gordon, Mark Anderson, and two from Provine, former coach of Provine High School and current head coach of Jackson State Tigers, Coach Wayne Brent, and Willie Thomas, a.k.a. Willie T. How y'all doing today?
We're doing fine.
I'm so glad you guys joined me, and, I know everybody got a lot going on, so I won't keep you long, but thank you so much for honoring Coach Dotson like this for me. Just before we start, I want to give a little background and a couple of memories of Coach and actually a couple of you guys. Now, when I first learned of Coach Dotson through my brother, Glenn Checky Stamps, he was a manager on the basketball team at Blackburn. I was a little girl, but I remember Lancaster Gordon, Mark, Jay Johnson, and a few others.
Greatest team ever. Go ahead.
I remember you guys coming to the house to play basketball, and I was maybe 5 or 7. But I remember you all, and my sister, Stephanie, she actually started playing basketball because of y'all. Little did I know we had celebrities in our backyard. And, those memories I'll never forget. Another memory is actually at Provine, and, of course, Coach Dotson. I knew him through checking my sister, Stephanie. And I'm way taller than my sister. She's 5'5", and I'm 5'10". And Coach would say, Stamps, why you too tall to not be playing basketball? What you going to do with that height? And I would tell him, I love basketball, but I can't play. I'm too goofy. I don't know what the problem is, but I just told him I'll just model the jerseys. And, of course, he would be like, Stamps, go to class. So, it's like he was like a dad to me. And all black dads back then, they reminded me of James Evans on Good Times. I don't know why. But they was just like strong. They were firm and very protective. And Coach was all those things to me and to so many others. So, I just wanted to share that because even though I didn't play sports, he meant a lot to me. He treated me like a dad, and it was just, I'm just thankful that I got to know him. So that's all I have to say about that. But I'm going to start with the Jaguar brothers, and then I'll move on to the Rams. So Lancaster.
The greatest of all time.
That's all you got to say.
I'm just saying. Go ahead, son.
Mark Anderson, you're going to have your chance to talk. And before I go, my brother, for some reason, he never called y'all by y'all first name. It was when he would come home and tell stories, it was Lancaster Gordon, Mark Anderson. So I grew up. That's how, I'm going to try not to call y'all by y'all whole name, but that's how I know y'all. But Lancaster, please tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how did you come to know Coach Dotson?
Well, Mark Newman had played the year before, and then I was trying out for the 8th grade team, and Coach Dotson was like, he put us on the 9th grade team. And we had middle school back then. It was 7th, 8th, and 9th, and we played on the 9th grade team. And he really taught me a lot about playing the game and just playing all out. And that was one of the things that Blackburn and all the Dotson teams is just going all out and not holding anything back. We're going to pressure you. We're going to banana you. We call our pressure banana. We're going to banana you. We're going to just we were banana everybody. And we beat teams really bad.
I forgot all about that banana.
You said what, Mark?
I forgot all about that nana. We called it nana day.
And so, and I remember going over his house one time. We were watching. This was like 1977. We were watching this team called Nevada, Las Vegas, and he said, "That's what I want to play like." So that's how we played. We're gonna run. We're gonna pressure you. We're gonna put you in a situation where you're gonna have to adjust. And everybody say, "Well, they got a scouting report on us. He said, well, it doesn't matter because they can't handle what we got anyway. And so we said, we'll give it to them. They still can't handle it. And it was just the way he went about doing, like you said, if you went in his class and your teeth wasn't brushed, he would say, you know, take your ass downstairs and get your teeth. Yeah, I mean, he said, you got bird shit in your ears. You're gonna go clean yourself up. You ain't coming in here. And he would say, you go tell your parents I told you to do it, and if they don't like it, come see me. And everybody was like, that's just Doc, man. Doc, Coach Dotson, he taking care of everybody, whether you're on the team or not, you know, because our dressing room was spotless. And he had the key. Nobody else had the key. And so you had to go in, and if you had to do something, you went there because everything else, you know, wasn't like what we were used to. But we set a standard, and he started setting a standard for me at a very, very young age.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So Lancaster, and I'm going to get to everybody. Was there anything from Coach Dotson's coaching style that made a difference in your game in high school, even in the NBA?
Oh, yeah, because when I got to college, at college we did what was called a switching man-to-man, and everybody wanted to know, when I tried out for the Olympics, everybody was like, how did you learn how to play defense? I said, well, it started at the front of the press. Now, there were some rules about our press when we were in that manner, and there were some things, and if you made a mistake, you had to pay very, very dearly because he would say, come here, boy, and give me some of that.
You know, I was at the top of that press, too.
And so I learned at a very, very, because you had to be, and he'll tell you, at the front of the press, you real committed to not even letting them get by you. and that was my job. You ain't getting by me because if I hear, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if you hear, come here, boy, and give me some of that, there was another word behind that, and there was something behind that really wasn't too pleasant.
Wow.
And so I learned very, very early, you can't keep saying my bad. You know, we hear that a lot, my bad. No, it's your bad, all right, because you don't feel it.
Wow.
And so from that, it took me over to Jim Hill, and we were in a similar situation about that. And then actually our 11th grade year, Mark, we were talking about this the other day. We played Dot. We were like, we go get this. We cannot lose to Dot. And so every time we played him,
he actually reached out and just said during that time, he said, now Mark, he had that voice, Mark, you're Atlantic. Don't be too hard on my boys now. Don't be too hard on them. But we couldn't do it no other way than what we were trained from.
Right, he taught you that.
You know,
we had, during that period, we had, we were competing with, and we went through, like, we were undefeated our 9th grade year, and we had a difficult game at the end, and I wouldn't shoot the ball, and he pulled me over. He said, "Boy, shoot the damn ball," and I was like, "Nah, we're gonna win this without." And then something followed afterwards, and I was crying, and we ended up winning the game. Everybody was crying, tears of joy. But my first real memory though was when I played 8th grade. That was my first year ever playing basketball. Wow. I didn't know what to expect, and because I was a football guy, I love football, and then we ended up playing in a championship game and winning that championship game. And so, and then it was, what are you going to do this summer? So that summer we came in, we used to go to Blackburn and play from 8 to 10 at night, just playing. And that's when I really started developing I tell people now that 7th through ninth grade year, what you enjoy doing then is you're going to learn if you're ready to accept what you really want. Right there, that's where your career is going to come from.
That's interesting. And that's interesting. Not to cut you up, that you said that, because I was going to ask you, you were saying, because that's kind of, I guess, in a sense, that's kind of like foundational years for athletes, in a sense. And you were drafted number 8 to the Clippers in '84. Was that always a dream of yours to make it to the league after, when you started really loving basketball?
No, my dream wasn't to make it to the league. My dream really was, I was so insecure about who I was, and I wanted to be a good player.
Okay.
So I just wanted people to recognize me as a player. As
Gotcha.
When you play against him, you're gonna have to play. And
that's not the story you told me coming from Vicksburg that night.
Oh my gosh, Mark.
From Vicksburg?
We were riding on the back of the bus in Vicksburg, and you told me these exact words. You said, Mark, if I get to a college and I could get that recognition, I'm going pro.
So you did have some fear.
The thing was
we had that conversation coming from Vicksburg, and you said if I get that exposure, that if I get on the team,
but see, here's the thing.
College.
I never thought I was going to get any exposure because, like I told Mark the other day, we didn't have cable TV. They were talking about this guy named Dr. J talking about jumping from the free throw line. I was like, hell no. Nobody can do that because I didn't have cable TV. Mark and them was seeing stuff that I couldn't see, and they were talking all of this. I didn't really know nothing about the NBA. I knew that, they told me that Adenar's brother played in the NBA, but I had never seen an NBA game, and I didn't know nothing about college because ain't nobody in my family ever went to college.
Right.
And so for me, that's probably me saying what I heard, but the reality of it is, for me, was if you made one move, I wanted you to make another move. And that's all I was trying to do is, and then when they started talking about you can go to school for free, I said, well, where do I sign?
Right.
I said, you're talking about and they're gonna pay me to do this? And then we're gonna travel? I said, where do I sign? What do I gotta do to do that? And then they said, you do this and this and this. And then Coach Dotson was, like I said, we were watching Nevada, Las Vegas. I remember it was 77, Reggie Theus, and talked to Shark and all of them. And I was like, so this is what you're talking about right here. And so once I started seeing the possibilities, and then, I was lucky enough to be around Mark and to see like Wilford and all of them being recruited, and then we had some other guys from the area to go to schools and stuff. So then it's like it became more real for me. But
right,
I'm from Farish Street, South Jackson. I was thrilled that Mark and them even let me come in the gym and play with them because I was from the other side. They let me play with them because somebody was hurt. And then they were like, whoa, we're going to let this guy play with us. And we've been friends ever since. And, but we were friends a little bit before then. But
right.
I didn't play 7th grade. So I wasn't. Now we played football. So that's where we met first.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got to say this about Lancaster playing with Dotson. When we were playing in that championship game, we were playing against Rowan at Lanier for the championship. Now, the crazy thing about that game, this was Lancaster's first year playing organized basketball. Just like he said, Coach Dotson took 5 8th graders and put them on the 9th grade team. Me, myself, Lancaster, Jerome, Henry, and Anthony Epps were those five. Three of us started. Now, what happened? Lancaster probably don't remember the story, but he remembers the story where he stole the ball and won the game. Right before we had to play defense, we had the ball. Kenny Otis got trapped. I came around the free throw line. I had my hands out, time running out, and he threw me the ball. I said, oh, I'm going to knock this J down. And when I caught it, I turned. My confidence was there, but when I turned to pivot, my right foot slipped. And when I released the ball, there was an air ball. Now, nobody knows this story but me because Lancaster changed the outcome. When I shot that ball, I said to myself, I didn't blow the game. It was a few seconds left in that game, and we were in that press. Lancaster was on the wing. Leon McEntee was at the point, and I was on the other wing in that triangle at the top. Me and Leon went to trap this guy. He threw it across court. Lancaster picked that thing off, and he laid it up. And everything about that could have been said, like, Mark Anderson, you blew the game. They said, Lancaster.
Thank God for Lancaster.
But see, nobody remembers that play. If the time would have run out, and the game ended, they would have said, "Man, you blew the game." I remember the play before that shot that he made, and I remember that story. But he bailed me out. You know, we got the championship. Lancaster got the glory, and I was good with that.
You was fine with it. Lancaster.
We were a team. You gotta. We had practice that all year. I mean, we had practice because like with everything, a lot of times everything, and some of the older players will say this too. It all starts on offense, but really it starts with defense.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was the only reason why I played, because I was a really good defender my first year. I was a really good defender, and I could jump a little bit, and I was quick, and so and I was kind of long for that time. And so,
hey, Sonya, I'm gonna tell you, I got to thinking about Lancaster. He was a miniature version of a Kevin Durant. That's what he was. He was about a 6'3", 6'4" Kevin Durant is what he was.
Interesting. Wow.
Wingspan. When he get up on his shot, okay, he could jump, but then you had about 8 feet or more arms to go. Stop that to block that shot. That's what he was.
I mean, and so we as a team, and it was special for us because, Coach Dotson always, he did it with everybody. Coach Dotson did it with everybody. He made everybody family. Like, he took some people that wasn't doing well and included them even with our team. And so, like, that's why a lot of it was, I'm going to see Dot tonight. They ain't coming to see us. They were coming to see Dot sometimes because they just wanted to see what he was going to do. They were going to see who he's going to get mad at or how. And then that's how we developed our names because of where it was with him and how he was as our leader. And so when we walked around, and he would tell us, when you're walking around and you're walking down the street and then all of a sudden you make a move. And I would be like, yep, because you're in it that deep. When you're walking around, you make that move, your body twitch because you're still thinking ball. You're still thinking ball. And so every time I went somewhere, like when I was going somewhere, if in my mind, because I used to walk home, and I would still be in it. Or I would, walk through my jump shot or walk through the defensive play, and so it was real easy to take some of his principles and what he was trying to get us to do defensively and offensively. But mainly he was just saying, hey, we're going to play defense, and this press is going, he said, we're like the hand. And where every time if you take your hand and just hold it out if the thumb moves, the rest of them gonna move with it, and
Right.
we're gonna cover each other butts. That's like that, and that's the way we play defense, and that's how we took a lot of people's heart by just doing that.
Yep.
That's cool. But Lancaster, before I move on to Mark, which he's already been talking, what was your fondest memory of Coach?
There was a one time I was in a classroom and I had this teacher, and the teacher said that I had done something. I said, no, I ain't do it. And you ain't going to whoop me because I ain't doing it. You ain't going to give me no lick. And I walked out, went on to study hall, and she called Coach Dotson, and Coach Dotson said, Miss So-and-so said, she said she was going to give you some licks, and you ain't going to take it. And I said, I ain't do it. I ain't going to take it. And I ain't going to never take it from her because, I didn't do what she said, what she accused me of.
Right.
He said, Doc said, well, let's put it this way. You can take it from me or you can take it from her. I said, well, I'll just go down here and take it from her.
And
he said, I thought you would agree with me.
And for the people who graduated, 90 and on up, you didn't get paddles. We got paddles back then. I mean, they're older than me. I still got paddles. So
that was that come here, boy. Come here, boy. Give me some of that.
I actually got a paddle.
What he said was, give me some of that ass.
Hey, this radio. Hey.
Yeah. The other thing was, like, the compassionate, caring side.
Yeah.
He would, and, Doc dressed. Mark and I got a picture of him. He got his checkered thing on. He dressed. He wanted us to look good. He told us he wanted us to look good, play good, be good, because he said the way you look and play, the way you look is how you play. And he wanted us to be young men. He taught us some stuff about, just everything. You could talk to him about everything. So, I talked to him when I was in college. I talked to him a couple of times when I was in the pros. I mean, when I used to come home, I would go to Mark's house, go across the street, say hi, and say, hey, what are you talking about? So just being, because I didn't have, my dad died when I was young, and when I was like preschool, and so he was the first guy that kind of pulled me in, and my uncle did it a little bit, but then this was the first guy that kind of pulled me in and said, this is what it's going to take to be successful, and Blackburn was really good for that. And so I tell Mark that all the time. The Jaguars was, that whole thing, some of the best times of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Lancaster. And don't go because I got to ask something later on. But we're going to move on to Mark right now. Mark, your relationship with Coach was a little different because you actually, as Lancaster said, you grew up across the street from him. So yesterday, guys, Mark and I were on the phone, and let me tell you something. Again, I'm hard. I'm West Side. I grew up on the West Side, and I lived down the street from, it's pronounced, he said the way I pronounce the street is incorrect. It's pronounced Lucydale. Is that how you guys pronounce it, Willie, Wayne?
But see, this is the thing. Don't ask Willie and Wayne because they're going to say Lucydale, too. They're going to say Lucydale, too.
Yeah, I always thought it was Lucydale.
So
yeah, see, the thing is, it's pronounced Lucydale.
Oh, God.
It's not 3 syllables. It's 2 syllables.
Lucydale. I'm on the 3 syllables.
Yeah, but see,
I'm with the 3 syllables.
I told Sonia, Powell Middle School is Tywell. It's not Powell. It's Tywell. Now, where did the I and the Y come in? It's Tywell.
Why?
Lucydale. My uncle lived right down the street, and so that's what we said.
It's
but we were country.
Fine, Mark. Whatever. Well, Mark, did Coach see the potential in you as a player while watching you play ball in the neighborhood?
But I'm gonna tell you something. And this is actually what Coach. My dad and like Coach Dotson, they were men with a man's man.
Right.
They didn't express a whole lot of things to each other about, as far as their feelings or anything like that. But it was one thing that Coach Dotson told me that my dad had never told me. And it's nothing against my dad, but sometimes you need a little validation. We were down there talking one day, and he was sickly, and we were talking. We started talking about the times in the neighborhood and that sort of thing. And he said, Amar, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, me and your dad should sit out there. We should watch y'all play. And he said that he would look at Junior. He said, Dad would say, now Junior's okay. Say, Kenny, I don't know about Kenny. Brian is still a baby. But he said, that Mark is an athlete. Mm. Now, Mr. Dotson shared that with me, that with my dad, and I know him now.
Right.
But my dad never expressed that to me. But Mr. Dotson shared that with me, and it was just like something like saying, man, I never knew. As children, you go around and you want to get that stamp of approval from your dad, want to hear your dad say, son, you going to be okay.
Right.
But Dad was always this person that he just sit back and just like, well, okay, all right, did all right. It was no more, no less. But that's the relationship, or that's the little something that Dotson gave me that I just needed to hear, whether it came from Dad or whether it came from him, and it was from a good place.
That's good. And speaking of, playing in his neighborhood, tell them about. You mentioned it to me the other day. Like he enjoyed you all playing in his yard, and what was the reason? Why did he want you to play in his yard?
Well, now this came along kind of after. Lancaster, you didn't cut any grass down there, did you?
No.
No. We were a different breed of athletes. He needed us playing, but it was some younger kids that come along, and Coach had he had asthma. He had problems with his sinus and asthma. He kept a mask on when he cut the grass. So he would be out there sneezing and mowing the yard, and everybody that show up in the yard to play ball, he had already had his yard sectioned out, so far wide, so far long. So while you were waiting on the down, hey, boy, come get this little section of grass right here while you and guys would see Coach Dotson out there in his yard cutting grass, and they coming down there to play, and they would turn around. They said, no, we ain't cutting no grass today.
I love it. So
that was
now,
coach,
Mark,
though. That was, yeah.
Go ahead. You were saying that's Coach. Go ahead.
No, but that was Coach. I put it like this. Before he was my coach, he was Mr. Dotson.
Right.
And I called him Mr. Dotson for a long time before I just had to just say, man, you got to cut the Mr. off. He your coach. And even after he coached me, it seemed like it was more natural for me to go back to say Mr. But, see, that was the thing about Coach Dotson. He was this coach, and he was a math teacher. He was a teacher. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a hall monitor. He wasn't a PE teacher. My dad was a PE instructor, nothing against that. But Coach Dotson was an educated man and a coach.
Right.
And the Mr. lined up with him. When you say Mr., okay, it fell right in line. He was a math instructor. When you say coach, it lined right up to the gym. All those things lined up about it.
Wow. I like that. Yeah. Mark, you've been around, Jackson, and so you saw Coach at Blackburn, of course, under you were under him, and then you saw him coach at Provine. Did his coaching style change much after leaving Blackburn?
I can't really say that I really paid any attention to it, but Lancaster, do you ever think about how close we came to being Provine Rams? You
that would
ever
have been
think
great.
about that? That would have changed the dynamic of West Jackson if we had gone to Provine. And see, the thing about it,
Wow.
when we were playing at Blackburn, Dotson had mentioned, I think around our 8th grade, he started saying that, he had something in the works. He had an offer. And we not knowing where it was or what was going on, we just knew he was going to be back at Blackburn. So when we played our last year at Blackburn, the 9th grade year, we graduated. We went on to Jim Hill. Blackburn was like Jim Hill's feeding ground. Similar coaches, just on another level.
Right.
We went to Jim Hill, and we finished our 10th grade year out, and who pops up in Provine? Coach Dotson. And it was kind of one of those things where you kind of wish, like, man, and me and Lancaster knew how we felt about Coach Dotson, but we weren't the type to just jump ship and follow our heart.
Right.
If we're going to be with you at Jim Hill, we got to ride you out. But I really believe if Coach Dotson would have gone to Provine when we were in that position where we had to make that choice, Jim Hill or Provine, we would have been at Provine. I believe we would have been at Provine.
We would have been at Provine.
And it would have
If
been
he
a
didn't
best
left
choice.
after our 9th grade year, we'd have been at Provine.
And it would have
We
been
would
the
have been
best
at
choice
Provine.
for both of you.
And then they would have been the greatest team ever.
The greatest team ever.
Whatever.
The greatest team ever.
Mark.
Wayne and Willie T, y'all really would have been proud to wear that red and white.
Y'all was really balling back then, huh?
Oh yeah, we were balling. They called us the Blackburn Boys. It's just like they were saying, man, y'all seen them Blackburn Boys? They was like, man, it wasn't no newspaper. Everything was word of mouth. They was running to each corner like a bicycle. Man, you heard what the Blackburn Boys doing? Then they ride the bike.
You got to get there during the girls' game to see them.
Get there during the girls' game.
You got to get there at the beginning of the girls' game to see them.
To get in, huh?
But I gotta tell you this, Sonya, while I'm thinking about it. And Willie T and Wayne, I want y'all to hear this. Lancaster, you know about this, okay? Dotson gave us, and I'm gonna tell you how simple things were back then with us. It didn't take a lot for us to just be satisfied. We played with one pair of shoes all year. They were Chuck Taylors. We washed them. I remember washing mine. When they turned brown, you got the toothbrush and you clean them around the edges, and then you put them in the oven to dry. Those were the
Oh, my.
Now check this
Bleach
out.
them to death.
You bleached them, and they had the brown ring around them where you had to use a toothbrush to clean them white. Now, Lancaster mentioned about the last game we played. We were 11-0 going into that last game we played at Blackburn. We was playing against Eddie Arch and Aaron Brandon, all of the greats of back then. I remember the score. We were down 26-13 at halftime. Now, this is the halftime pep talk that Coach gave us. We go in the dressing room. He said, this is his voice. On Monday, y'all turn my stuff in. I'm saying stuff. He just said stuff. He said, y'all not going to eat no steak. You're not going to eat no baked potato, no toast, or no sweet tea. We're not having none of that. Now, we sitting up there this halftime. You know how much we live to eat steak, baked potatoes, and sweet tea? Say, man, you can't take. We worked all year to eat that sweet potato, eat that steak, baked potato, toast, and sweet tea.
Well, were y'all going to Western Sizzler or Bonanza? Was that Bonanza?
No, they had it. They had it in the lunchroom. They had it in the lunchroom, but see, those things were so simple for us back then.
Right.
And to take away something, it ain't like our parents took us out eating steak, and then when they put the steak on there, LG, was it chopped steak? Was it a hamburger steak? It was something that you could put some A1 sauce on and cut it with a knife and say you eat some steak.
It was a hamburger steak.
But see, those were the things, like I say, things were a lot simpler back then.
Yeah.
And when he finished that pep talk, and I mean, that wasn't really a pep talk. It was just kind of one of them things like, oh, the other thing is, like, you remember when he walked out, he asked Marvin Jackson, how did he feel? And Marvin said, I feel all right. And he hit him upside the head with the clipboard. And then he asked him, said, boy, what you mean you feel good? And we getting all kicked. And that was just kind of like, man, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. So we went on, and we won the game. You know, it was just, that was the simplest thing that he could say is, you know, take away our steak,
and that
baked potato, toast, and that sweet tea. It seems like you only got one glass. You didn't get no refill. You just got one glass.
You are so crazy. Mark, before I move on to them Rams, baby, can you please tell me your fondest memory of Coach?
Oh, yeah. The fondest memory that I have, and it was probably, you know, what coaches do, they set a bar for players. And when a child is walking in that light of that coach, that child will only follow your words. You know,
okay.
He's just trusting that he just, whatever coach says. Go back again to what me and Lancaster were talking about. We were the 8th graders playing on the 9th grade team. Now, Lancaster didn't know no better. He just wanted to play ball. You know, they pulled him up, and he just said, well, whatever team you put me on. But I had played 7th grade ball, but I wanted to play with my friends on the 8th grade team. You know, it was more about having fun.
Right.
So when Dot pulled us up, I'm like, okay, he just got us up here for a minute. You know, I'm looking at the 8th graders down there. They was down there playing 3-on-3 for suits. You know, if you lost, some of the best players didn't get a suit because they lost in a 3-on-3. But long story short, Dotson was my ride home, along with a good friend, Hugh Cole. And we would ride, and every day that we would go, we would be riding home. Hugh would say, he said, man, you know, yeah, coach, you want to play to 8th grade, man. He said, I'm going to be the point guard, man. I'm going to be down there throwing that thing to you. We're going to be down there rolling. I said, man, I'm not asking that man that, you know. So we were sitting on the back seat, and he started punching me and pinching me. He was like, man, action. So he punched me this last time, and it just came out. I said, coach. And, you know, I always remember Dotson's voice, Jim Hart. I said, coach, I was wondering if I could play on the 8th grade team. You're not going to play on no damn 8th grade team. You're not going to be down there putting around. If you can't play for me, you can't play for no damn body. It was just like that. But from that time on, I just say this man got to see something in me to have me down here playing with these old. I used to think the 9th graders were old guys. I want to be down there playing for little boys.
Right.
But for him to put me in that situation, and it actually put me mentally somewhere that I was uncomfortable, but I had to get comfortable being that way. And it always challenged me, and I never forgot that.
Yeah, you had to grow up.
Exactly. So when he throw you out there, it's not like you're not ready. You might be a little nervous, but it's not because you're not ready. It's just because you want to do well.
I love that. That's cool. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for sharing that memory. I'm glad you told that because I was cracking up the other day when you were telling me that. Well, let's move on to 2400 Robinson Road, Ram City. Where my Rams at? Willie T. Wayne, where y'all at?
I'm here. I don't know if I have a memory like those two. I don't know.
Yes, you do. Don't worry about them. Don't let them intimidate you, Wayne. Come on now.
Hey.
Make me proud, Provine.
I don't know, Wayne. We got some good memories of it, man.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong now. Lancaster and Mark, my family, because, you know, we Blackburn. We Jaguars. But we split up when they became a Tiger. And, you know, later on I became a Ram. So don't embarrass me. Make me proud, Willie T. Okay.
You know where your heart is, son. It's okay. It's okay with it, T. Wayne. It's okay.
So Coach Brent, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. I was like, Coach Brent, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I actually attended Blackburn. I came out to Mark and Lancaster there, so I went to Blackburn. Coach Dotson was gone at the time. He was over at Provine, so Coach Sutton was the coach at that time.
Yep.
And it was 7th through 9th grade, and then once I hit 10th grade, I went to Provine, and Coach Dawson was the coach at Provine. I went to Northeast Louisiana after that for 6 years. I did my undergrad and grad. I came back. Coach Dawson called me, actually had me come back, and he got me the job at Provine. That's how I actually started my coaching career off after I was a grad assistant at North Louisiana. So I came in when he retired. I came in and took his place straight out of college. I stayed at Provine for 6 years, and then I went on to Ole Miss, and it's been Pinewood, Callaway, Jackson State. I've been all over the place since then.
What about the state? How many state titles you won at Provine?
Ooh, I won one at Provine, but I left my best team. We were pretty good the year that we won it, but the year that I went to Ole Miss, that probably was the best team that I would have coached. So I didn't get a chance to coach them, and we were ranked number 1 in the state when I left. We were maybe 15 or 16 in the country. So that next year team probably would have been a top 10 team in the country. But I never got a chance to coach them. But we all went to Ole Miss together after that. We all ended up at Ole Miss.
Yeah. So wait a minute, Coach, wait a minute. So you weren't on the city champ team at Provine? Was that a little bit too early before you came?
No, that was my 10th grade year when Leland and Mike King, Johnny Bain, Don Weatherly, I was actually at Provine that 10th grade. But the year before that, my 9th grade year, they were undefeated. That's when Mike Mitchell was ruled in eligible. He had been in 9th grade twice. So those were the 2 years. Those probably were the 2 best teams that Coach Dawson had. Was my 9th grade, which I was still at Blackburn, and then my 10th grade year. Those were the 2 that were really, really good.
Wow, okay. So you mentioned that, you taught at, you coached at Provine, and first of all, I didn't know that Coach kind of groomed you to take his place. I did not know that. So that's pretty dope. That says a lot of how he felt about you and what he thought of you as a coach. So that says a lot. But
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it wasn't as easy to get the job as what I thought. He called me for an interview. I thought I was just going down there to get the job, and when I got there, the principal interviewed me, and he told me that I didn't have enough experience for the job, and I left, and I went to Coach Dawson's room, and I told him exactly what the guy told me, and this so happened, and bless his heart, the principal there, maybe about maybe about 6 months after that, he had some kind of blood clot or something, but he had something that made him he had to retire. And Coach Dawson called me back. And at this time, one of my former teachers, which was at Blackburn with us and maybe taught with Coach Dawson, Mr. Reeves got the principal job, and then it was a shoe-in from there.
Wow. So it was just kind of destined for you to be the coach, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so, because like I said, it didn't look like it was going to work out at the beginning, and then at the end, everything worked out perfect.
And when you were there, you coached former NBA player Justin Reed, and as you know, Justin passed away in 2017, and I actually sang at his funeral. I did not know him personally. However, just hearing the stories about him really made me hate that I didn't get to know him. He seemed like a very cool guy. Can you tell us about your relationship with Justin?
Justin probably had a relationship with me, probably like I had with Coach Dotson. Father figure was not in the house, and his father figure probably was coming to school, and we just had a great relationship. I had a chance to coach him at Provine and then coach him at Ole Miss. So you're talking about maybe 7 or 8 years that I spent coaching, but I never coached a kid that tough. You're talking about just a pure dog on the court. The tougher the game, the tougher he was. I mean, we would go into some hostile environments, and I mean, he just had a dogged mentality. He loved to play. He loved the physicality of the game, but you know, a kid that just wouldn't let you lose. And I mean, regardless if they wanted to fight, if they wanted to play hard, if they played dirty, it didn't matter to him. He was just a throwback player, just a hard-nosed kid, and you know, he was just a great kid on and off the floor.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned that Coach was like a father figure to you. So let me ask you this: when you started coaching at Provine and of course JSU, I'm sure Coach came to see you coach. Am I correct?
You know what? I don't think Coach ever came to a game that I coached in. If he
Really?
did, you know, he may have, but out of all the times of me talking to him, he never mentioned one time that he was at a game. Now, I would talk to him all the time. Like when we would win a game, I would call him and we would talk about it. The only thing he told me was to give him hell, bro. That's it. We never talked about a game that he had been in. He never gave me instructions. He never gave me anything positive. He never gave me anything negative. So I don't know if he actually ever been to a game that I actually coached in.
Wow, because my next question was, were you nervous seeing him in the stands? But if he was there, he probably didn't want you to see him, and you know, so you wouldn't be nervous.
Nah, it's basketball is basketball. You know, playing for him probably the most time was just going into the gym, not knowing what was going to go on at halftime. When you come to the huddle, not knowing if what was going to be touched. I was nervous doing those times. That's about me.
Okay. I like, you know, both, you know, the Black During guys, and you just said, you know, you didn't know what to expect during halftime. So are y'all trying to say Coach was kind of like the Bobby Knight of Jackson, Mississippi? What's going on here? What are y'all saying?
It depends on if you get that.
You don't know what was going on ahead, man. I don't know what's on the cap, man.
That is, I love it. So, Coach, what is one of the fondest memories that you have of coaching? Is there anything that he has ever told you that has stuck with you even till this day?
Ooh, the most fondest memory of me having with him, you know, probably yesterday at the funeral. You know, it's crazy because I go to a lot of funerals and people ask you to speak, but they ask you to speak before the funeral.
What?
And nobody called me or nobody said anything about speaking. And I get to the funeral and I'm thinking it's just gonna be okay. You just put him in the ground, the coronavirus out.
Right.
But when I got there, his wife called me up to speak, and I thought that probably was the most proudest moment of my relationship with him, just having a chance to speak on his behalf.
Wow.
At something, you know, at a funeral for him.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. So you didn't even know. That was kind of like off the,
I had no idea. I just thought it was, you know, with the coronavirus, I just thought I hadn't been to a funeral during the coronavirus, so I didn't know how that actually, how it went about. I just thought you graveside, the preacher gonna say something, and then they gonna put you in the ground. I didn't know all of the other details of it.
That says a lot about what he thought about you. You know, if she asked you to do that, you know, like right there at the service, that says a lot. And I'm still kind of blown away with. I didn't know he had bequeathed the coaching job to you. That's pretty dope. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was hand delivered. It was nothing that I did. It was he called, and this is what you're gonna do, and you're gonna be a coach, and you know, I went with it.
That's great. And here you are now. So he just kind of I guess kind of just, it seems like all three stories so far, well, talking to you, Lancaster, and Mark, it's like he just kind of, like Mark said earlier, was getting y'all prepared to be men. And, it was just, he saw something in all three of y'all that you didn't see at the time. And it's a blessing that he was, a great father figure in you all's lives, because it kind of changed your destiny in a sense.
Right,
exactly.
It kind of changed our destiny, and that's why, even when I was there at Provine, I didn't go to, I wasn't in any of his classes, and it was men there. It was, I love Mr. Scully, and it was other men teachers, but Coach was dominant. He was different from them, and it was like, if I ever got in trouble, if something happened, just like I ran to him, and that's when he kind of would call me daughter. What's wrong, daughter? And if I'm crying, he took care of it, and so
right.
it's such a blessing that he was so instrumental in y'all's lives. I mean, that's pretty dope. So thank you, Coach Brent. Last but not least, the baby of the group, Willie T.
I was wondering why you had me last.
Now, well, I was trying to go in, because I was just, I don't know why. I guess I did do it because of that. But Willie is the only one that I went to school with out of this group. And I know that squad, they were straight ballers. They was balling all the time. I used to love, the gym used to be packed. I mean, it was just so exciting to go to the games. And Willie, when did you first learn of who Coach Dotson was, and were you nervous or excited to play for him at Provine?
Actually, I was coming to Provine to play football.
Really?
We got Hardy. We won we got to the city championship in football, and we got there in basketball. So I was coming over to talk to Coach Blackman.
Wow.
And then one of my friends said, let's go in the gym, see what's going on. So when I got to the gym, he said, hey, you come to my gym to play basketball? I said, I have no shoes. So he told me, don't come to this gym no more. You're wearing basketball shoes to play. I said, yes, sir. And he said, wait, hold up for 1 second. Don't you leave. So he went and got me some shoes and some socks. And I played that day. He told me, from now on, I want you to come up here. When this gym is open to play, I need you up here. From that point on, that's how I started playing basketball.
Wow.
Yeah, he told me, don't go to the football field. I'm like, who is this? Well, I'm 5'8". He's standing, 6'7"?
So he told you not to go to the football
field? He told me, no, do not go to the football field. I played quarterback for Hardy, and I was a pretty good football player. And I said, well, I'm going to play football. I like football. I like basketball, too, but I'm going to play football. When I went to his gym that day, he gave me the shoes to play, and he told me, I want you up here. Every time we got a gym open, he took my telephone number. They called me and said, the gym is open. I need you up here.
Wow.
And I was in the gym from that point on. And that's really how I started playing.
So did Coach Blackman know that this happened?
Coach Blackman came over to Hardy. When you're playing football in high school, coaches come over there and talk to you when you move from the 9th grade to the 10th grade. Right. I had talked to Coach about coming over there playing, and we was all out there watching them practice during the summertime. Right. And that's how we ended up at the gym. We were lifting weights, and then I went on in the gym with another friend, and they was all in there playing basketball. And he came over and told me, don't come in my gym no more unless you got shoes to play.
But no, I'm saying did Coach Blackman know?
I don't think Coach Blackman. Once he told me that, Coach Blackman didn't ask me about football no more. Until I got in school that fall, they asked me, was I going to play football? And I told them, no, I'm not playing football. Coach Dotson want me to play no football. I'm not playing.
Oh, wow.
And that was it.
That's interesting. Now, it was some characters on your team, Jimmy Cabot, Albert Tillman, just to name a couple. How did Coach deal with all of your different personalities, and how was he able to get everyone together to get serious about playing ball?
Well, everybody had all different personalities, but when you came to that gym and them doors locked, it was only one personality.
That's right.
So
There was only one personality. It was Coach Dotson personality. And you know,
And we took on that.
And we took on that. He used to always tell me, I know you from them projects. And a lot of people are scared to come to them projects, but I'm not scared. I'm going to be the one that come in there and pick you up. I remember one time, you know, Wayne, when we had practice on Sunday.
Right.
You know, and I called him. I said, man, it's going to be a rough practice. I really don't feel like going up in there. So, you know, I called him. I said, Coach, I ain't got no way to practice. And I'm feeling sick. He said, Willie T, I'll be out there at 1:30 and hungry. You know where I was, right? I was at the end of the department waiting on him at 1:30. He ain't telling about me feeling sick. I got in the truck. He didn't say nothing. We talked a little bit. We pulled up, and man, that was it. He said, "Don't call." He took me back home and said, "Don't call me no more about you being sick." Yes, sir.
Wow. Love it.
He used to say, "I'm gonna run that out of you."
Oh yeah, run everything out of you.
I'm running it out of you. It's good for you.
So it didn't matter if y'all was sick. He was just gonna run it out of you. Wow.
You were sick until you got in the gym.
Wow. That's interesting. Willie, what's one thing that Coach taught you that you have taught your son, Nick Thomas, who plays for Tulane?
Well, I mean, Coach taught me a lot of stuff, but the one thing that he taught me is, you know, you got to be responsible for what you're doing. And when you came in there with Coach Dotson, if you took on something, a challenge or something, that you was going to be a great basketball player, I mean, he was going to hold you to that. And, you know, you work hard. He make sure you work hard. And, I mean, he just gives you all. And, you know, when I came to the gym, we came in there, not only me, but I know these guys can testify there too. Everybody in that gym, if you weren't that good, everybody in that gym, all 12 or 13 of us worked hard. He instilled it in you, not only with basketball, but when you was off the court, classroom, you was going to work hard. Whatever you had to do what you needed to do, he was going to make sure you was doing it. And that's one thing that, you know, I try to teach my son, is when you're on the basketball court or whatever you're doing, if you work hard at it, you'll be successful.
That's good. I like that. So, Willie, speaking of Nick, what grade is he now? I mean, not grade. What is he, a sophomore now? What is he, a sophomore?
No, he graduated from Norfolk State with his BS degree, and next week he'll be getting his master's degree from Tulane. So he's done now.
Okay. So let me ask you this: whose game is better, yours or his?
Of course, mine.
Wait a minute.
You know, he broke his hand this year, so he was kind of out. But even when he's at his best, he's still not as good as me.
He still ain't Willie T.
No.
Baby, Willie T used to be. I'm trying to tell y'all. Willie T used to date my best friend at the time, Michelle Smith. So we used to be at the games just screaming. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he was. There you have it. The son is not better than Willie T. So, Willie, what is your fondest memory of Coach Dotson?
I remember one time. I got a lot of good things about that guy, but man, I remember one time I lost my uniform. I lost my uniform. Mm-hmm. Brett, I don't know whether you that came and got me, but son, I was in the class, but you was a math class, and they came and got me out of class, and they said, man. I lost my uniform. And they said, yeah, it's hanging on Coach Dotson's door. I said, oh, man. And now, I didn't do nothing in that math class with you, but I was in that class with Coach Dotson probably from 8 that morning to around lunchtime. I think I learned all the math I needed to know. Hey, if I didn't get that problem right, I was doing push-ups.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And, you know, he used to take me home a lot. I mean, he would come pick me up. He'd take me home. Man, me and him had a lot of conversation. And the last time I saw Coach, I saw him, I live in Texas now, and I was home, and I stopped at the store up there from his house, and I ran into him. And he told me, he said, you know what, man? He said, I was real tough on you. He said, but I knew you could handle it, and I knew I had to be tough on you to turn out the way you turned out now.
Wow.
You know, and that ride with me, I mean, that stuck with me a long time. He talked to my wife. My son was small then. He told me, whatever I gave you, make sure you give it to your son. And that was my last time talking to him in person. I kind of talked to him on the phone from time to time from then, but
Yeah.
he installed a lot of good things in me, and not only me, but like I said, a lot of guys, especially guys that didn't have no father figure.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That says a lot about his character as a person. You know, he was hard on y'all, you know, when it came to basketball, but he understood, you know, being a human and being a young man, a young boy, a young man. So I appreciate him for being in all four of y'all lives. I'm enjoying hearing these stories. This is great. So guys, before we go, what's the first word that comes to your mind that best describes Coach Dotson to you? And I'm gonna start with Lancaster. Just one word.
Oh.
Oh.
One word?
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
I was like, oh.
Let's see. For me at that time, he was perfect. He was just what I needed. You know.
Perfect.
He was
Mark?
perfect. He was just what I needed.
Oh. Okay. Mark?
I would say motivator.
Motivator.
I know I got somebody else's word. They're like, that's my word.
Yeah, you took my word, man.
It's so.
I'm glad you went in order.
Lancaster know how crazy he is. We be on the phone for hours. Mark is crazy.
Mark is crazy.
Coach Brent, one word.
Military.
Military. I love it. And Willie T.
Discipline.
That was one of my words right there, too. That was my word. I picked the one I wanted, but that was my second choice.
That was your second one.
I'm glad it wasn't 10 people. We'd be sitting on the phone like,
oh, my God.
Hey, Brent, you remember that time, man, we was, he told Damian, if you skip class one more time, don't come to practice. So Damian, you remember he skipped class, he came to practice, we was up there doing exercise. He told us, he said, you know, you said down, up. And after he got to talking to Damian, he asked me and you, what the hell you waiting on? Everybody's still down. Where's up coming up?
You see my Damian Parker?
Damian Parker. Yeah.
Oh, that was my dude. Rest in peace. Wow.
Yeah.
We just got through talking about Damian. We sitting out here on this porch. We just got through talking about Damian out here.
Really?
Yeah.
We just sitting around with a couple of partners, but we were just talking about Damian.
Wow, that's, man. The last time I saw him, I lived in Dallas for 9 years, and I was at home visiting, and we stopped and talked and laughed. We weren't, like, close enough that in school, but we knew each other. And, you know, we grew up, and it was just like, you know, what's up, homegirl? And, you know, we would laugh and talk sometimes. But I really hate he passed away. But, yeah, he was a character, too. I forgot he was on that team. I forgot.
Yeah, he was over there.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been so great. This is probably my favorite interview, and I've been at this show about a year now. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. My sincere condolences to the Dotson family, friends, and all the students and athletes that lives have been touched by Coach Grady Dotson. He was just that guy, and after hearing these stories, I'm more convinced he was just that dude. He was everything to a lot of people. Rest in peace, Coach. That's my show for today. Please follow me on She Say Sports on Facebook and She Say Sports 23 on IG. And until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports, and I will see you on the radio.